Okay, so welcome back. I'm here with Nettie again. Oh, so
Groundhog
you told me
Day.
you weren't going to laugh.
Okay.
But anyway, about a year ago, she got diagnosed with alpha-gal allergy syndrome. And so we made a video at that time. And so here we are a year later. She's progressed considerably.
Yeah.
And so, we just want to do a little update here. And this is going to be kind of a comprehensive video. I've got a bit of a script I'm going to be referring to once in a while.
The papers. Where are the papers?
I've got the papers right here.
All right.
Just in case I need to look at them, because I want to make sure we get everything. This, I say comprehensive. The reason is we want alpha-gal sufferers, if you will, to have the information they need. Because you got your numbers down.
Yes.
And by numbers, I'm talking about panel numbers.
Yeah.
So let's start. We'll talk about. Well, wait a minute. First of all, if you don't know what alpha-gal syndrome is, it's basically an allergy that you get when you get bit by a tick. And
Lone Star tick.
Lone Star tick. So that's
in the States anyway. There are other ticks in other countries causing it.
Yeah. Well, and actually, we don't really know that. We think that's like a theory, and we don't really. But we're not going to get into all that. I just want to make sure everybody
Good.
knows what we're talking about here. So you got this alpha-gal allergy syndrome from getting bit by a tick, supposedly.
That's what they told me.
And maybe not, but whatever. The point is, you got this panel number, which is an allergy panel.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about what an allergy panel is first.
Okay. An alpha-gal allergy panel is a blood test. It's a very specific and very scientifically accurate blood test to test what they would do with alpha-gal is they would take your blood and put it on slides with a particular type of meat, and they would watch and count the numbers of the antibodies that attack that meat when it's mixed with your blood, to count how high your histamine levels are and therefore how serious the allergy is affecting you.
And so a year ago, your numbers were like what?
Deadly.
Yeah, okay, so what was, you had like beef,
Oh,
the number was
okay.
really high, what was that?
Okay. Any alpha-gal panel, 0.35 is high. It's a high positive. My beef was 6.10.
Wow.
My beef and venison and all the rest of them around 1.7, 1.9. Any one of those meats could have killed me
Okay.
at any point in time, particularly beef.
So now what are you looking at a year later?
I've got my beef down to 1.7 now, and overall I've raised my other ones down to just above the 3.5. It's 0.43, 0.55 something else. I mean, I've got it down to almost a quarter, between a third and a quarter, and I've done that in 10 months. And the doctors have told me I shouldn't have been able to do that, but I did.
Okay, and we're going to get into how she did that a little bit, in just a little bit. We want a few other things I want to talk about first.
Superwoman. Yeah. Watch my karate chop.
Yeah, I'll watch my yoga chop. That's the only martial art I know. Well, Asian art. It's not martial art.
No, don't get me laughing.
Okay. So anyway, okay. So let's talk about. Let's get serious here.
Okay.
We're gonna get serious.
We're getting serious.
Okay. So what is the alpha-gal reaction like?
Well, it's the same as any other reaction, food reaction. The only difference is, your throat will swell up. Sometimes you'll break out in hives, sometimes not. There's an important point to make here while it's on in my mind to do it. If you're on allergy medication of any kind and you have an anaphylaxis reaction to eating meat, the doctors might not know that you're having an allergic reaction because the allergy medicine keeps the hives from coming up on you. So you're going to have something with you that tells the doctors that you have the alpha-gal, and that way they can look and check and make sure you're not having an allergic response, because they won't recognize it if it doesn't have hives.
Okay, but so what is, okay, you talk about anaphylactic shock. What is that? What is that like?
Your throat will close up. You will not be able to breathe. Okay, and it will happen with alpha gal. Unlike other food allergies, anywhere from 7 to 10, even sometimes 12 hours after you've eaten it. So it doesn't act like
So that's
a regular
like a delayed
allergy.
reaction. There's several theories about why that is and such. We're not going to get into that. But it is like a delayed reaction.
Yes.
And so you ended up in the hospital several times. Didn't know you had alpha gal allergy.
Right.
They didn't know to test you for it.
No. And how would they have? I mean,
At that
there
time,
was no information.
It was kind of rare and there wasn't much information out there about it.
Yep.
And so you ended up self-diagnosing.
Yes.
We're not going to get into all that right now either. Right now, though, I want to talk about these reactions.
I'm glad you're not, because
what the
it still
reactions are
pisses me
like.
off.
So your reaction, you had a heart attack.
Yes, and that was from milk.
And that was actually the alpha gal, or excuse me, the anaphylactic shock ended up causing a heart attack.
Right. What happened is I woke up in the middle of the night about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't know, you know, and I still I'd been in the hospital before, short of breath. So this occasion it was worse though, and they'd been treating me for other things, and I ended up having a heart attack. And the reason I had this heart attack is I'd been taking antibiotic medication that contained lactose powder in it, and the lactose caused this in me. The reason I had the heart attack is not because my heart is weak. In fact, I've got a very good heart. My heart is strong. It overcame the small amount of damage that was done to it during a heart attack. But it's called hypoxia or hypoxemia when the organs of your body are not getting enough oxygen to them, and that's what caused the heart attack.
Okay. So
I almost died.
So you get yes.
That was the second time I almost died, but anyway.
Yes, but let's move on.
Yes, let's move on from that.
I
didn't die.
You didn't die. That's the bottom line.
And I'm feeling pretty damn good.
Yes, you are. You look good. I don't know how you feel, but I think you feel good.
I feel a lot better.
You look like you feel good.
I'm gaining a little weight.
So then there's you could have other reactions.
Yeah.
Like,
well, okay.
hives.
Hives, you can get skin rashes that go beyond the hives. I got such severe ones on my scalp from malnutrition, and a combination of malnutrition and hives, that I got a horrible, it was almost like a shingles on my scalp. I ended up having to get all my beautiful long hair cut off short. It was practically shaved, actually. And it's just now growing back from that. And
then there's digestive problems.
Horrible ones. Horrible.
And so, okay, so you took a long time to get diagnosed.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it was like, what, 8 to 10 months?
It was almost a year.
From the time you really started having problems until you finally got diagnosed.
Yes.
Basically a self-diagnosis at that time.
Yeah.
You had to run the panels, and they...
I went through 5 doctors to find a doctor that would agree to test me for it.
Okay. And so then, if you go back to our video from a year ago, you were on a liquid diet, correct?
Yeah.
And that was because you...
What alpha gal does is it creates a lot of histamines in your body, and those histamines don't go away because the alpha gal is in your system. If you have a regular food allergy, you know, the histamine levels will go down, alpha gal doesn't. And that's because you're constantly being exposed to things that contain meat or milk or other derivatives of carbohydrates that are related to the alpha gal allergy. The year, they'd given me plenty of medications and plenty of foods that I was allergic to going through my system, and the histamines built up in my chest and gave me COPD, and I'm overcoming that now. And the histamines all through the body and through the digestive system completely destroyed the flora balance in my gut. So my intestines, my body had forgot how to absorb the nutrients from food. So food was just going through me. It was passing through me undigested. So it was necessary to put myself on a liquid diet. Doctors didn't tell me to do this. I had to figure this out on my own. It was necessary to put myself on a liquid diet for about 3 months.
Okay. Yeah, so I think, you know, and one of the important points to keep in mind here, it's really good to get a diagnosis early. So you don't have too much damage.
Right, because you want the poison. It is a poison. It comes from an arachnid, and any bite from an arachnid is poisonous. So I mean, you want to get the poison out of your system as quickly as possible. So the doctors need to know. So
Okay.
They can help you with that.
So, okay, now we're going to move on to yes, I got my checklist here. Okay, so what they're going to tell you, let's say you get diagnosed with alpha-gal. They're going to tell you, well, you're allergic to red meat. And she's laughing at that. It is kind of funny though, isn't it, that you would get that, because it is really so much more. It's really
it's everything. It's everything. The carbohydrates that you will become allergic to if you get alpha-gal can be in anything. It could be in a stick. You could chew a stick and have an alpha-gal response to it.
I hope you aren't chewing sticks.
No, not recently.
But so they're going to tell you you're allergic to red meats, and so the red meats are like your mammals and basically your
any mammal. If it produces milk to feed its young, you cannot have the meat from it. Pork, beef, any of it. Venison, goat, none of it.
And you can't have the milk.
No, you cannot.
And you can't have the derivatives
and doctors,
of the milk.
And some doctors, and there are alpha-gal people who are going to be watching this video, and I know that they're going to hear this, and I'm going to tell you this right now. If you've got a doctor suggesting that just because you haven't had a reaction to it, that you should still be drinking milk, he's giving you the wrong advice. You will never get your alpha-gal numbers down if you continue to put alpha-gal into your body, and milk has alpha-gal in it.
And that would, in dairy products, of course. And we're also finding that pills, if your medication is in a pill form, there's a good chance there's going to be a binder in there. Well, it's not just the pills.
No, they could inject you with anything in a hospital. You go into a hospital and they've got injections ready for you, or medications in their IVs, and you've got to ask them, will that contain gelatin or any other of these preservatives, magnesium stearate, lactose monohydrate? Because if they do, you're going to get sicker if they don't kill you. And they've killed people.
So then this really gets into a lot of packaged food.
It's in practically every processed food. Well, we haven't discussed what else alpha-gal can be in. I mean, alpha-gal is not just in meat, okay? And they'll tell you that you can eat chicken, and they'll tell you that you can eat turkey. Well, some alpha-gals can and some can't. I couldn't. I thought I could at first, but I kept reacting to it. Then the reactions got worse, and I knew I couldn't have it anymore.
But you had very high numbers.
Yes, but alpha-gal is not in poultry or chicken or turkey, so they couldn't explain to me why I was reacting to it, and they still can't.
They really need more information on this.
Well, I understand why I can't. See, alpha-gal is the first allergy to ever be to a carbohydrate rather than be protein based. But what they're not telling you is that you are actually allergic to protein, because the carbohydrate that you are allergic to, that is in all these different foods, is attached at the molecular level to the proteins. If you can't have one, you can't have the other.
Okay. To kind of sum this up,
I don't care what they're telling these people. They're lying to them. They're telling them protein's not the allergy. Yes, it is.
So it's red meats, byproducts of red meats that can get into
Bring to my happy place.
All of your processed foods, etc. But then we find out there's a few other things that don't appear to be anything to do with that. And
there's a reason.
You mentioned a couple of them, which is the chicken and turkey, possibly.
Soy, gluten. Any vegetable, any fruit. It could contain it.
And that's not to say that...
See, and the reason for that is that doctors don't know which set of carbohydrates which alpha-gal patient is going to react to. They can't possibly
and generally
know that. It's
speaking,
different for everyone.
The sweeter the fruit and the sweeter
Shall I tell them why it's different for everyone? Because it's a designer illness. Okay? Let me explain. I got alpha-gal. I came home, and for 2 or 3, maybe even 4 weeks, it paid attention to what I ate the most of. It paid attention to what I handled the most, which was my dogs. And within 4 or 5 weeks, I was reacting to those things that I ate the most, and even my dogs. And if I'd had a cat, I'd be allergic to cats. And that is the way it works. It can be in anything. Some alpha-gals even react to water.
Okay, so I'm trying to develop a list here of what things they should expect. So we've got the meats, we've got the gluten and the wheat.
They can expect it from anything. They need to do my 3-5 ratio.
Okay, what is that?
Well, okay, the 3-5 ratio is this. You realize you have alpha-gal, and you can now be allergic to any carbohydrate in any source of food at all. So what you're going to do is you're going to start testing yourself with small amounts of food. Okay? And I call this my 3-to-5 ratio, and it worked for me, and it never failed me. If you can eat the same food, and just a small amount of it is all it takes. If you can eat the same food 3 times within a 5-day period and not react to it, then it's probably okay for you to have that food.
Okay, good. Now, so you pretty much avoid prepackaged food.
Oh, yeah, you can't have it because you can't trust what's on the labels. And even if you make the calls, there's no guarantee you won't react to it anyway.
And so then the other thing, restaurants.
No, you can't eat out.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, and you could even ask them to specially prepare yours, make sure it didn't touch any other meats or things like that. But people don't understand that how dirty restaurants actually are, and how that oils, greases, and other fumes that go through there. And they wind up on tabletops.
So being around the food while it's being prepared.
No, you can't do that.
You don't want to
not with my level.
Not if it's meat or anything.
No.
Yeah. Okay, so so that's all. That's.
You have to prepare all your own foods fresh.
Yeah, and so your diet went from kind of strict. You realized you needed to get even stricter with it, and then you got even stricter with that.
Right. I had to do that to get my numbers.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, and then here was something that came up, and this was unexpected. You were, in the beginning of all this, you started drinking almond milk. And,
yep.
And
you can't do that. You cannot do that. It will poison you. I don't know about other countries, but here in the States, you do not want to drink. I even made smoothie videos.
Yeah.
You can't drink the nut milks, folks. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why. I was on a forum and I saw that a doctor had written one of his patients on there, stop drinking almond milk, it's poisoning you. Well, it made me curious, so I did some research on it, and what I found out is that all these nut milks are having tons and tons of titanium dioxide nanoparticles added to it to make it creamy and make it nice and white. And I began to wonder if it was taking my digestive system so long to get kicked in good again, because I was drinking all of this. So I had a hair analysis test done on me, and sure enough, the titanium level on the hair analysis was long enough to have poisoned me.
Yeah,
and nanoparticles can break the blood-brain barrier. It can end up in your liver, your kidneys, your brain.
That's not. It's
you
not
don't want
alpha-gal. It's not the alpha-gal. It's just that is a problem that's gonna.
It's gonna aggravate it.
It's gonna aggravate it, and if you've switched over to consuming a lot of that, because you're trying to avoid all these other things.
I miss that chocolate almond
That
milk.
Was so easy,
Yeah.
But I will say this though. Now we're talking about manufactured milk.
Yeah.
That's nut milk.
You can make your own.
You could make your own.
Mm-hmm. And I've done it.
And you made the hemp milk.
Yeah, hemp. But if it's green, it's gonna get your digestive system, because you're trying to get your digestive system back in order again, because the histamines have destroyed it so much. So you don't want the green seeds. And you want to kind of bake them a bit. You might want to just brown them a bit.
Yeah, bake them. Yeah, that is good that way.
Yeah.
And you could filter it through the muslin filters.
Yes, you can. It won't taste as nice.
So now you mentioned the hair analysis.
Yes.
So you went on this diet.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a few months, everything has changed.
Yes.
Because you're not eating the same food.
Right.
So then you got a hair analysis.
Right.
Right. And that's where you picked up that you had the titanium levels that were elevated.
That's right.
And that's why you put the nut milk. I bring this up because you don't know. I mean, everybody is going to approach this slightly differently, I think. And people need to know what they have in their diet. And the best way probably to see how that's affecting your body is to see how it comes out in a hair analysis.
Yes.
Um,
I highly recommend it to any alpha gal. Also, another thing that I recommend, if your doctor refuses to give you another test because he refuses to believe your numbers will go down, go around that doctor and go to an allergist instead. Get yourself retested about once every 8 to 10 months, because you need to know if what you're doing to get better is working for you.
yeah. Now you're talking about the panels.
Yes.
But also with the hair analysis, I think you had to...
I think every alpha gal should have a hair analysis to find out whether or not their body's getting the nutrients that they need, and what changes they need to make as a result of
But
that.
that was something you had to do on your own too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I've done
so,
everything on my own. Doctors have done nothing but give me tests that told me nothing.
So we've done...
Except that I have it.
We've done a lot of talk about what...
I'd like to slap a couple of them.
Yeah. Bet you would.
Mm-hmm.
We've done a lot of talking about what you can't have. So I thought we'd talk about some of the things you can have. Actually, we didn't talk about the makeup yet, did we?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go over that first.
Okay, well, first of all, let me say this. If you're an alpha gal, there are 2 ways to live your disease. You can get your numbers down, or if they are hovering right at the high, you can take a risk and you can continue to take Benadryl. Don't get me started on that. Continue to take Benadryl, which many doctors still recommend alpha gals, and I do not understand why, because it contains animal in it. And you can continue to drink a little milk or eat a little meat now and then. You can play the dice, but eventually you're going to have a reaction, okay? And you can live your disease that way, feeling sort of crappy most of the time, maybe not all the time, or you can get your numbers back down to 0, be done with the disease, and toss it out. I've chosen the latter. So I put myself on a very strict diet, very strict regimen of behavior and protocol to get my numbers down as fast as I can, and it's working. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, and so we were talking about the cosmetics.
Right? You can't have them. I'm wearing vegan cosmetics.
Vegan cosmetics.
You have to make 100% sure.
Vegan shampoo.
You can't. Here are the things that you can't have anymore if you want to get your numbers back down to 0. No makeup or cosmetics, not your normal ones. Mainstream shampoos and conditioners, body creams, lotions, perfume. Forget that. Body sprays. Underarm deodorant, get yourself something natural. None of that stuff. You can't have any of it. Dishwashing liquids, laundry detergents, conditioners, and for crying out loud, don't use those bounce dryer sheets. They're toxic to the environment anyway.
Okay, but you do have, there's some soaps that are vegan, there's some makeup that's vegan.
You have to do the research.
Coconut oil, if you need lotion.
Coconut oil is really, really good for the hair and scalp,
and
it's good for your skin, and it's got antibiotic properties.
I think a lot of people know that.
So if you've got a cut or something that needs healed, I mean, coconut oil is also very good for that.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about what you are eating. Because of this, talk about your actual diet. What I've
had to consume to get my numbers down, and this is going to hurt some alpha gals because not every alpha gal can have eggs, but the bulk of my diet has consisted of eggs and potatoes, to be quite honest with you. The few vegetables and fruits I can have, beans, they're very, very good for you. They've all got to be organic. You've got to read the labels very, very carefully. Recently I've just been able to start allowing fruits back into my diet again, and some vegetables I couldn't have before. Rice, white rice. You cannot have breads that are bought commercially unless they are made of grains that are not wheat or soy. And you cannot have, other than bread, what's the other one? Oh, pastas. Definitely no pasta that's made from soy or wheat.
But getting back to what you can have, for you,
you're living both a vegan and a gluten-free diet,
right? And
a soy-free diet.
So you're having eggs
every day
and some fish.
Yes. Now I can eat fish, but I can't eat all of it. I mean, there are some fishes I reacted to and others I did not. I have not reacted to any seafood as of yet, but some of them are putting a preservative in it called a
Yeah, big long word, isn't it?
triple phosphate.
Something like
Yeah, okay, take my advice on this. Even if you're not an alpha gal, if you look at a label on a food product and you can't pronounce it, you probably shouldn't be eating.
You're really looking for whole food and organic food.
I mean, it's common sense, you know. I can't
Yeah.
understand all these people putting all these poisons into their body anyway.
Okay, so so and then some vegetables, but as you said, you got to be careful with those. Even
You use the
and the
5:3
fruits.
ratio.
And
I eat a lot of yams.
coconut oil or coconut oil, right? So you're eating yams and eggs and coconut oil
And potatoes and what few vegetables, doing the 5:3 ratio I can. I was always able to eat peas. I was always
potatoes.
always able to eat spinach. I could not eat any fruits at first except blueberries, and now I can eat strawberries, kiwis, and bananas again, which has helped a lot with trying to put a little more weight on, and also with my exercise regimen, which, you know, if you don't weigh a lot, you get tired. So I mean, the fatiguing part of it is just as frustrating as anything else.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about
Am I too
more of
long-winded?
your, well, let's see what you have in your doggy bag here. What is this? What is this? What?
It's diatomaceous earth. It's
you
dirt.
eat the earth.
Yeah,
That's ground.
yeah.
You eat the earth.
Yeah, that will also take alpha gal and any other toxins out of your body.
This is diet. What do you say?
Diatomaceous earth.
Diatomaceous earth.
That's right.
Food grade, it says. So
Yeah.
they put this in the swimming pools.
No, not that one.
Not this one.
You got to be careful. You got to get the food.
You
grade.
got to get the food. Okay. So you just, how often do you take this?
Okay, with my protocol to get my alpha gal numbers down, once a month I do a 3-day cleanse. You take 1 to 2 teaspoons of diatomaceous earth, which is fancy dirt, and you put it you put it in a glass of water, and you stir it up a lot, and you drink it down. Oh yes you do. Hold your nose, whatever you got to do to get it down you. And here's what you're going to expect. The first day, if you feel bad already, you're going to feel worse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the reason for that is because you are going to knock all the toxins and metals and heavy metals and the alpha gal and the histamines and everything, including your gut flora, right out of you. And you don't take it 3 days straight. What I do is I take it, and then I take as much liquids as I can the next day and then the day after. So you've got 1 day in between where you're taking this, where you're rehydrating yourself, because it's a desiccant. It will dry you out. And because it's cleaning all these toxins out of your body, you're going to want to drink as much water as you can to help your kidneys flush those toxins out of your body, because I mean, they're going to have a tough time of it, and people have more toxins in there than what they think they do.
Okay. And then now here's another weapon of choice.
Mm-hmm. Let me say this first. If you do the diatomaceous earth,
Oh, it's way back there.
the day after
I cannot reach a
you're
thing.
done with it,
That's not it. It's back
I'll
there.
get it. It's right here.
Okay.
The day after you're done with it, you should take one of these. Just one. This is 1MD probiotics. It's the only vegan probiotics that I've been able to tolerate. And why do I say one, Tommy? Read
Well,
it.
I
Read
don't
it.
know.
How many?
50, what's it? 50 billion CFUs.
You do not need 50 billion CFUs of probiotics in your body every day. What's going to happen if you do that is you are going to bloat, and you're going to feel even more unwell than you already have. I take probably 4 of these per month.
Yeah, I don't.
And I
think
take
can
definitely,
count that high.
right, because once you have removed your gut flora to remove the toxins from your body, you're going to have to rebuild your gut flora back up. And so for a day afterwards, I go back on my liquid smoothie diet, and I take the probiotic. And then by the next day, I'm good.
Okay, and this
is very important to anybody with alpha-gal, because alpha-gal will run your B12 into the dirt, and your doctors might not know that you have a B12 deficiency, and a B12 deficiency can cripple you, because a lot of products here in the United States particularly are fortified with B6, which is folate.
I don't know.
It will mask a vitamin B12 deficiency because your doctor sees you've got plenty of red blood cells. What he doesn't look at is the size of those red blood cells. If those red blood cells are large, then you need vitamin B12. Most vegans don't realize they need vitamin B12. Then they wonder why they're foggy headed or why they feel tired all the time. This brought me right back to where I can exercise again. And it's also important
this one was
to
hard
digestion.
to find, wasn't it?
Yes, it was hard to find. I went through many that claimed to be vegan that weren't, and I had serious allergic reactions to them. But this one it's called Live Wise. Yeah. You need it. Your body needs it for digestion.
And your doctor actually did recommend that you get the B12, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now
you're forgetting my other supplement there.
Oh, for the, okay.
Yeah, when you can't drink any milk anymore, and while you're waiting on your body to allow you to eat a lot of green vegetables that it still might not be letting you eat, you need to get a good vegan calcium supplement. Calcium is also important to getting your gut flora back into shape, and it's also important for digestion as well as your tooth and bone structure.
But you want to get the right one.
Yes, Tooomps. It's sodium bicarbonate. It is vegan, and it's the only supplement out there that I think is safe for an alpha-gal to take for calcium. And I don't take a lot of it because, I mean, why would you take stuff for an upset stomach when your stomach's upset? So I might take 3 of these, maybe for a week, okay? But it keeps my calcium up. I mean, before I started taking it, I was suffering tooth and bone loss, and that just stopped.
Okay.
That just stopped, and
So,
it's not through being all
and if you could have
fixed yet, but
if you can have broccoli has, but not like you said, not everybody's going to be able to have broccoli,
right?
Because they might be.
Well, see, I didn't even know. I had to figure this out on myself. I looked at my teeth and I said, "Oh my God, my teeth look awful." I went to the doctor and he says, "Oh, your teeth are being eaten because of calcium deficiency in your body." I said, "Well, thanks, doctor. Why didn't you tell me that?" Well, I don't know. Same answer I always get. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's this?
Yeah. So we were talking about you've got allergies, you've got histamines. We might want to talk about.
I don't know.
Allergy medicine.
Allergy medicine. This is Zyrtec Children's Liquid. It is vegan. Watch out if you're having a little bit of stomach issues. You might want to just work yourself into this one because it does have propylene glycol in it, which is a laxative. And I have no idea why they're putting laxatives into children's allergy medications, but for whatever reason they are. Now the grape version of this has meat in it. Only the bubblegum flavor is vegan. And as I've already discussed with you before, every other allergy medication out there contains meat derivatives except for this and Flonase nasal spray.
Yeah, and I think we went over the Benadryl earlier. You were saying that you didn't do good with that.
Why would I have?
Yeah.
I'm allergic to it. And so is every other alpha-gal.
Now, for pain or...
Okay, yeah. You're going to get aches and pains. You're gonna hurt. And you're going to have to grin and bear it. And, you know, this is the part where I get to thinking about where I was almost a year ago and where I am now, and it makes me want to cry. Because if you've got alpha-gal, or you've just been diagnosed, or you haven't got it yet, but you end up getting it, you're going to go through hell. You can get better. That's the good news. You can. I'm going to help anybody who wants to get better. You can get better. But until that time, you are going to take a first-class trip to hell. You're in the front row. Your pain reliever, one and only, 100% vegan, Bear baby aspirin. No other baby aspirin, even St. Joseph's now has lactose powder in it and magnesium stearate. No other pain reliever that you can buy over the counter is going to be free of animal derivatives, except for this one. When I go to the hospital and they want to give me an aspirin to thin my blood, I pull this out of my purse and I say, I've got my own.
Okay, yeah. So,
that's it. That's your
Yes.
only pain reliever. Isn't that
to
nice?
summarize all this.
Oh, well, let's talk about anxiety medication.
Oh, yes, we didn't talk about that.
Okay, a lot of doctors want to put alpha-gal patients on Prozac or other depression medications. Don't let them do that. You're not depressed. You have every reason to be suffering from anxiety. The nature that causes alpha-gal to give people respiratory problems is it tightens the diaphragm. If you tighten the diaphragm up, you're not going to be able to breathe. So it will be necessary for you to take some kind of anti-anxiety medication to loosen up those tight diaphragm muscles, at least at the early stages. By the time you're diagnosed, you probably will have been to the hospital several times, enough to give you PTSD, and so you're going to need a little help. Now, you know, I don't want to insult somebody and say, well, you know, somebody says, well, I can go it alone without it, but no, you really do need it. Because if for no other reason, you might eat something some night and all of a sudden you're feeling tight and you're feeling your breathing is not right. You might end up in the hospital and you really didn't need to be there because you were having an anxiety attack and it wasn't really, and so it fooled you into thinking that you couldn't have that food anymore. So when I noticed when I was first into the disease, when I first stopped having to go to the hospital all the time, a few drops, because you want the liquid form of I would not suggest Xanax, Ativan, lorazepam, and it is a benzo. You will have to withdraw when you're finished with it very, very slowly off it, as I have. I'm almost down to taking none of it, and then I'll be done with it probably within the next month. But it's very, very important that you keep yourself loose, because there were plenty of times when I almost got myself out to the car to go to the hospital. And I said, well, wait a minute. And I put a few drops of the lorazepam in a glass of water and I drank it down. And in a couple of minutes, my breathing was okay again, because it relaxed those muscles through there and made me understand that I wasn't having an allergic reaction to the food I was having. So, you know, I would suggest it. You don't have to have it, but, you know, a lot of AGs have anxiety issues, especially at the early part of the disease.
And your pharmacist, if you got a good pharmacist, they'll
be able to find it or have it custom compounded.
Help you find somebody that can get it in liquid form for you. Mm-hmm. So, kind of to wrap all this up, you got your numbers down basically by eliminating this alpha-gal from your diet altogether.
Anything that contained meat, milk, soy, or gluten. Now, oils. Let's discuss oils. There were several that I reacted to as well. Canola oil, and it got down to where the only two oils that I could have were sunflower oil. No, three oils: coconut oil, sunflower oil, and olive oil. I use those to cook every food I have, and you're going to want to put a lot of that stuff in your foods, because it helps to get your calorie levels up and helps you get some fat back on your body. So when you exercise,
coconut oil
you can turn it into big bad muscle.
Coconut oil is a good one that you can consume. Right?
Big bad muscles.
But
I've got them.
So you consume the coconut oil and olive oil.
I can, but sometimes, depending on the source, if it's not organic, you might react to it a bit. Coconut oil is very strong. I wouldn't suggest eating it every day. Maybe once a week might be good, or having it like there are gluten-free and meat-free brownies out there. Aldi's has a very good G-free section.
Gluten-free, yes.
And a lot of those items in there, not all of them, but a lot of them are vegan as well.
Little like the same macaroni noodles.
Coconut oil in those brownies. Oh, that's just delicious.
So yeah, they are.
Watch your sugar intake though, because a lot of AGs end up getting candida infections, and the reason for that is they start reaching for a lot of comfort foods because they can't have what they had before, and many of those foods will contain sugars, and you really want to stay away from sugar. Okay. Sorry to tell you that too.
So anyway, what it kind of comes down to You want to get your numbers down.
Yes.
You want to get your numbers down.
Get those numbers down.
Get those numbers down.
Yeah.
And you do that by staying away from all these sources of alpha-gal. And I hope...
No processed foods. Cook your own foods. Buy fresh fruits and vegetables. Get the purest forms of grains or anything you buy. No processed foods. I mean, even Ritz crackers. You can go on the PETA website and they'll tell you that they're vegan. But those people don't know that 90% of our soy products now have casein added to them, which is a milk product. So don't feel safe eating soy if you have AG, because in the United States, at least, you're not.
Okay. So yeah, we've tried to make this comprehensive, so this is something maybe you could come back to and look at a later
No
date.
meat, no milk,
None.
none at all, none in anything.
You get your numbers down, that get your histamine down, you feel healthier.
To get yourself full, fill yourself with eggs and potatoes. Eggs also help keep your B12 up.
Okay. So I think we've covered everything as far as what you can't eat, basically what you can't eat, what she's been eating, and then this kind of regimen that she's on with the diatomaceous earth, B12,
Right.
and the calcium supplement.
Right.
So
okay, my name's Nettie Pullman, and if a person has alpha-gal and they want more information on my protocol or advice on alpha-gal or how to get their numbers down, I'm under Janetta Marie Pullman on Facebook and Janetta Pullman on Twitter. Just contact me. I will help anyone. That's the reason I'm doing these videos. I'm not sitting here because it's fun. I don't even like having my picture taken.
Well, the reason, one of the reasons we made this video was because we went on, I saw on Facebook, and I know you've
people
been
being given bad advice.
Bad advice, and they're coming under a lot of peer pressure too. That's another thing. If you got a friend that's got this.
I ate wedding cake because Mom said, "Oh, go ahead. A little bit's not going to hurt you."
Yeah, and then you end up in the ER room.
Or using your EpiPens, and if you are an alpha-gal, you will carry 2 EpiPens with you at all times.
And that's not a that's not a good way to approach this. It's just not a good way to approach it.
You're also going to want to carry something with you that identifies you as an alpha-gal sufferer, and hope that they know what that means.
Yeah, that's the big issue, and that's the other thing we want to get the word out, because so many people don't. I mean, even in the medical field, they just don't know what this is.
No.
So we made this to kind of inform people.
Yeah. Do you know what they're calling the Lone Star tick now?
What?
They're calling it the reverse zombie tick.
Reverse zombie. I guess.
Think about it.
Because zombie,
who's really the Walking Dead now?
The zombie eats
alpha-gals.
Or at least on...
Right, because it would be safe for me to eat people. You don't have alpha-gal.
Okay, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what's going on. But I do know they switched the
I don't think it's fucking funny myself.
More people are talking about it as alpha-gal syndrome, where a year ago they were calling it alpha-gal allergy or alpha-gal meat allergy. And it's really much more involved than that.
The Lone Star tick goes to the reverse zombie tick.
So I hope that this has been useful and informative to you.
Right, this is only part 1 of 2.
Yeah, we're going to come back and we'll talk more about the theory of
how
what's caused this and
the other ways you can get it other than the ticks.
Yeah, and other implications.
Mm-hmm. And exactly where it is and what the population densities are and how far into what states it's in.
So I hope we've answered all your questions. If you have more questions, put them in the comments below the video if you're on YouTube.
Or contact me.
Yeah, or contact Nettie.
Yeah, you almost forgot my...
Is it... Well, I could have given them your real name.
It's Nettie.
Okay.
I already told him Janetta Marie.
Okay, that's good enough. And so, well, I mean, that's...
You want the other 5 names attached to it? Or...
No.
Okay,
no,
okay.
No. Well, you just contact us. Put it in the... Comments. Just put it in the comments. We'll get back to you.
Right, and if you have alpha gal, be responsible. Peace, brother and sister.
Yeah, get those
Do
numbers
not give
down.
blood. Do not give blood. They will tell you that it's probably okay to, but they don't know that.
No, they don't do that.
No, they don't.
Anyway, thanks. Peace out. You have a great day.
Love ya.